All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. This is Chef Ed Harris, the restaurant consultant, and your guide to online streams for your restaurant. All right, online streams for your restaurant. All right. What's up? What's up? Welcome back, everybody. My name is Ed Harris. I am a restaurant consultant, and today we're talking about the 7 revenue streams every restaurant should have. All right, super important. Things are a little crazy in the world right now, and sometimes things can get even crazier. We know based on what happened during COVID. So this is one of those things where you don't want to be caught with your hands in the cookie jar, all right, or in the sugar or in the flour. So we want to set you up right. So today I'm going to go over 7 streams that you can create for your restaurant that can be very powerful, and these are things that will allow you to basically make money while you're sleeping, some of them. All right, so first one's first, let's go over these things. And the most important thing we want to touch on today is, of course, I have my notes, so you're gonna see me looking off a little bit. And what we need to realize as restaurant owners, as bar owners, right, that you can't just rely on foot traffic. You can't just rely on people walking into your restaurant, right? Because if that's the only way you're making money, then you can be in a very serious situation very quickly, right? So we can't just rely on foot traffic. We can't just rely on reservations, because things happen, people don't show up. So you want to make sure that you are creating other streams of income besides people walking through your door. All right, that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you're just relying on the fact that people are coming through your restaurant and something happens like COVID happened, then no one's showing up, no one's coming out to eat, how are you making money? You're basically at a stall and you're at a standstill, and now you have no foot traffic, you have no reservations, you have all this inventory, right? You basically don't have a way to sell these amazing dishes that you have in your menu, on your menu, in your restaurant, right? So really important. So these are the 7 things I want to touch on today. The first one is, of course, dining in. That's number 1, because it's your brick and mortar, right? So you want to make sure that you can bring people in. But 2 is takeout and delivery, right? Super important. If you're not set up to do takeout and delivery, this is something that you really need to look into and get done, because of course, if they can't show up to your restaurant, at least you can get the food to them, right? Number 3 is packaged goods. This is one of my favorite things, and packaged goods could be the food. Also, it's a form of takeout, but packaged products could also be things like this, right? I have a seasoning line, right? 2 actually, and this is one of them. So packaged products could be this. So for all my restaurant owners out there, right? Thank you, Empress. I appreciate that. For all my restaurant owners out there, you want to make sure that you have a product that you can sell, right? And not just sell in the restaurant when people come by to eat, but also sell online, right? Super important. You need to make sure you have a website so you can sell these products that you're creating, and you can create a ton of products, right? You can create your own seasoning and spices. You can create your own sauces. You can create, if you're a breakfast place, you can create your own pancake and waffle mix. You can create your own cake mixes, your own muffin mixes, right? Your own hot sauce, your own barbecue sauce, and package all of these things, right? And we're gonna get into a different area where there's fulfillment involved, where there's shipping and handling. So you're not doing all of these things yourself, right? Really important. So these are just some of the things you can do when it comes to creating a packaged product that you can sell for your restaurant, right? Number 4 will be catering, right? You have your establishment, you can cater food for people, right? Go out and find nearby offices, find nearby hospitals, any corporate place. They need lunch, they need food for their events, right? So you can provide catering for a multitude of places, for schools, for hospitals, for 9 to 5 office buildings. Like, there are a lot of places that you can create catering for, right? The other one is experiences, and experiences can be anything from bringing people into your establishment to creating experiences online. Like, you can do an experience where people come and they do a tour, or you create a product for them that you can sell to them digitally, right? There are different ways you can create experiences, and the experiences can also be a pop-up dinner, right? Where maybe the chef comes to somebody's home and does an event for them in their home, right? So there are different ways you can do experiences with your establishment. The other one is memberships, right? Memberships are super important because with memberships, this is something that you can rely on every single month. Like, people are paying you. This is a subscription, so they can subscribe to your wine program if you sell alcohol. They can subscribe to your cocktail list. They can subscribe to a recipe that you release every single month. The chef can do a how-to course or a series on how to make the best rice, how to cook the best potatoes, how to make the best soups, sauces, vinaigrettes. These are all things that you can create a subscription for that people can pay monthly. So this is money that you have coming in every single month, the first of every month, without you having to lift a finger, right? You can create a database where you keep and house all of these recipes, all of these courses, all of these tutorials, and then by that, you're able to sell this subscription. And once people come into your restaurant, they want to take a piece of that with them. So you can easily sell that subscription product, right? Number 7, which is the last one, is digital content, right? Digital content is something that I do consistently. And what that looks like is you creating products, you creating videos on YouTube, you creating a community where you house all kinds of information. So you can do, just like we spoke about with the memberships, you can extend that into the digital content as well. So you can do content where you're showing up live every day, and this is a subscription. Like, you pay to join my live, where you get to see me make some amazing things that we sell at the restaurant, right? Those are some of the things you can do that's digital product. You can even create digital content where you're selling digital cookbooks, right? You're selling recipes online, right? Those are all digital content that you can create, that you can monetize very easily, right? Creating content that you put on YouTube, right? The more views you get, that now becomes a revenue stream as well, because once you hit a certain viewership, YouTube will start paying you, right? So there are multiple ways that you can create these different things that allow you to push your digital content and your digital product, right? So we really want to pay attention to those. And those are the 7 things that every restaurant should have in their back pocket, because that's how you make money without having to go look for money, right? Without waiting for people to come in. And none of these take ads, right? Like, you can do all of these things without having to come out of your pocket way more than you would for anything else, all right? And you want to think of your restaurant like a brand and not like a building, not like a brick and mortar, right? When you think of your restaurant as a brand, then you're able to package things really nicely. Then you're able to sell this ecosystem of, hey, you came into the restaurant, you love the food. These are the other things that we can extend to you: cookbooks, sauces, spices, aprons, right? You name it. So and all of that falls under branding, because if you have a logo for your restaurant, if you have a name that's amazing that you can put together, then that's what you're slapping onto every single thing that you sell, right? So really, really important to think of your restaurant as a brand and not as a building or a brick and mortar, right? The other thing I wanted to touch on was the difference between active income and leveraged income, right? Which is really important. Active income, obviously, is when people are coming in every single day. You're paying your, you have your subscription and things like that. And then with leverage income is based off of what you already created in your restaurant that you can then leverage to make even more money, right? So that's where the cookbooks and the spices come into play. The things that you can sell off of the fact that you have an establishment and people are coming in to eat and they love the food. These are the things you can then leverage to make even more money. All right. The other thing I wanted to touch on was why it's so important to go digitally, even as a restaurant, right? Think about it. You have seasonality, you have slow nights, right? You have slow periods in your restaurant where, it's the slow season. What are you supposed to do when that slow season extends into 5-6 months, right? You have to be able to still generate and bring in money. So being able to have an online presence, it allows you to reach people that are not even in your state, not even in your country, right? Once you can create that following and you can extend that digitally, then you're in a place to win regardless of what's happening in your brick and mortar, right? Really important. So creating that online revenue puts you in a place to win consistently. It puts you in a place that allows you to be comfortable. Like literally when you're sleeping, you're making money, right? When you get up in the morning and you're heading to work, you've already made money, right? That's the cool thing about having digital products. That's the cool thing about having an online presence, is that you are able to make money without the restaurant even being open, right? And you need to have a website that's e-commerce ready so you can sell things online, right? You can't just have a website that just says, oh, make a reservation here, this is where we're located, about us, and nothing else. Like, your website needs to be e-commerce ready so you're able to sell 24/7. Even when the restaurant is closed, even when you're sleeping, even when you're on vacation, you should be able to make money. All right. The other thing I wanted to touch on was how digital income keeps money flowing even when the restaurant is closed. And this is kind of what I just said, right? You want to be able to have things in place that brings in money regardless of if your restaurant is open or closed. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter if you start with just one. The idea is to put something in place, and small online streams of income over time creates money, lots of money, right? So the idea is to start with one and then just keep adding on. You can do meal plans, you can do meal prep ideas, you can create shopping lists for people to buy. There's so many different things. Your chef can do custom menus. Like, there's so many ways you can create online information that allows people to buy more from you, right? Because that's the goal at the end of the day. How do we get our customers, our clients, to buy more from us besides coming into our restaurant and buying and sitting down and having dinner? All right. And then you need to be able to monetize your chef's knowledge, your manager's knowledge, your bartender's knowledge, right? Let's say your restaurant has a bar, because not every restaurant has a bar. But if your restaurant has a bar, this is another way you can also get money online, right? Because that bartender, right, you can create something where they're paying for a subscription, where every week the bartender talks about this new wine. It's a wine club, right? That's something people can pay for. Or you can do classes where the bartender is showing people how to make mocktails, showing them how to make cocktails, right? Showing them how to make different syrups. Or these are cookbooks that you can create as well. So there's so many ways you can make money online with the knowledge of the people that are working in your restaurant, right? And then last but not least, the future is restaurants operating on multi-channel businesses, right? And it's all about being omnipresent. And you can only be omnipresent if you are creating streams of income, not just physically, but also digitally, right? Because we know what happened when the world shut down. Like, no one was going out to eat anywhere. Restaurants were closed, but people still needed to eat, right? People still wanted to feel something, and food is a big part of that. So by being able to offer your services online also lets you make more money without being open for your restaurant, right? So for my restaurant owners and my bar owners out there, these are just some of the things that I help people with. So if you would like to know more, please send me a message. I will be happy to work with you. This is something I do on a day-to-day basis, right? I take people online, I help them set up streams of income, and I help them see what's possible to make more money online. All right. Thank you so much for the love, Empress. I appreciate it. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for listening, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm gonna be on here every day, Monday to Friday, doing these lives, just talking to you and showing you how it is to take your business online and just make money as a restaurant digitally. All right. Peace and love.